Welcome to a deep dive into the incredible life of Kazuo Inamori. You might not recognize his name right away, but his journey is just packed with lessons and surprises. We're going to be exploring excerpts from a biography, originally written in Chinese, about this remarkable Japanese businessman. So buckle up, because we're talking about a guy who started a company with a blood oath,
Oh, wow.
faced bankruptcy, and then later led the turnaround of Japan Airlines, all while guided by a philosophy that's touched countless lives.
It's really captivating about Inamori's story is how closely it's woven with the massive changes that swept through Japanese society and business during the 20th century. To truly understand him, we need to dive into the cultural nuances and historical context that molded his thinking.
Okay, so let's start in his hometown, Kagoshima. It's famous for its active volcano, Sakurajima, and for its people, the Satsuma Hayato, known for their toughness and resilience. Think strong community ties and deep traditions. It's also the home of Saiku Takamori, a revered samurai figure who had a profound impact on the area's values.
And Saiku Takamori's emphasis on selflessness and service really echoes throughout Inamori's own philosophy. It's interesting to note that Inamori's family practiced hidden nimbutsu, a secretive Buddhist ritual. This was during a time when Buddhism was actually suppressed in Japan. So you can see how this early exposure to a hidden discipline practice might have influenced his later focus on the power of the mind and ethical conduct.
That's a really insightful connection. So Inamori himself was a bit of a character growing up. He was described as a crybaby who transformed into a neighborhood leader. But it wasn't all rosy. His family struggled financially after World War II, which instilled in him a very practical, almost frugal approach to business. Do you think those early financial struggles played a role in his later views on corporate social responsibility?
It's certainly possible. Inamori was exposed to hardship early on, and that experience likely shaped his understanding of both the challenges and opportunities facing ordinary people. World War II also had a huge impact on him. He witnessed the devastation of air raids in Kagoshima firsthand, experienced personal loss, and even battled tuberculosis as a teenager.
Tuberculosis was a serious, often fatal disease back then. I read that the book The Truth of Life by Masaharu Taniguchi had a major influence on his recovery. It introduced him to the idea that a positive mindset could actually affect your health outcomes.
That's a key point. It wasn't just abstract ideas that shaped his thinking. It was also observing how people behaved under pressure. His father selflessly cared for Inamori's sick uncle, despite the risk of infection. This really reinforced the idea of a good mind and its power.
Despite these challenges, Inamori was determined to pursue his education. However, he faced a major setback when he failed the entrance exam for his desired high school. Not once, but twice.
It might be surprising given his later accomplishments, but these early struggles speak to his persistence and the influence of mentors, like his teacher, Mr. Doi, who encouraged him to keep trying. Mr. Doi saw Inamori's potential even when he doubted himself. These mentors played a crucial role in his development.
Now fast forward to 1958. Post-war Japan is rapidly changing. The economy is booming, and there's a sense of both opportunity and uncertainty in the air. It's in this setting that Inamori, along with 7 colleagues, founds his first company, Kyocera. And get this, they actually performed a blood oath ritual.
It does sound dramatic, almost like something out of a movie, doesn't it? But it reflects the intensity of their commitment. Imagine they gathered in Inamori's humble dorm room, wrote their dedication on paper, and then used a razor blade to make a cut on their fingers, pressing their bloody fingerprints onto the document. They were literally putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this venture.
Wow, that's some serious dedication. But I guess it speaks to how much they believed in their vision. What's interesting is that Inamori didn't have any formal business training. He relied on intuition and a strong set of principles, rooted in his upbringing and personal philosophy.
Exactly. And those principles led to some really innovative ideas, like his amoeba management system. Now, this is a bit complex, so imagine it this way. He divided the company into small, self-managing units, almost like independent cells in a larger organism. Each unit was responsible for its own profitability, fostering a sense of ownership and accountability at every level.
It's like he was applying that small is beautiful philosophy to the corporate world. And on top of that, he developed his formula for success, which emphasized mindset passion and aligning individual efforts with the company's goals. I'm sensing a theme here. This wasn't just about making money.
You're absolutely right. Inamori's philosophy went beyond just profit. He was building a company with a soul, one that was rooted in a strong set of ethical principles. He believed in collective prosperity achieved through ethical means, and that's a critical distinction that sets him apart. But as you'll see, Kyocera was just the beginning.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, from a volcanic island steeped in tradition to a blood oath in a tiny dorm room. I'm already hooked. But I'm curious what happens next. Where does this incredible journey take Inamori?
Well, he doesn't stop with Kyocera. Remember that restlessness we talked about? In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how he went on to disrupt the telecommunications industry and become a renowned philanthropist.
So we left off with Inamori's incredible success with Kyocera. He had this knack for creating businesses that were profitable, yes, but also had a real soul, a strong ethical core. But it sounds like he didn't just rest on his laurels.
Not at all. Remember that restlessness I mentioned? In 1984, Inamori took on a whole new challenge, the telecommunications industry. He founded DDI, which later became KDDI, now one of Japan's major players in telecom.
It's fascinating how he went from ceramics to telecoms. It seems like he wasn't afraid to leap into completely different fields and shake things up. What drove him to take on this new venture?
It was partly that drive to disrupt and innovate, to challenge the status quo. At the time, NTT, a giant state-owned company, held a virtual monopoly over Japan's telecommunications. Inamori saw an opportunity to offer consumers more choices and better services.
It sounds like he was taking on a Goliath. That must have been incredibly risky.
It was. But Inamori believed in the power of competition to drive progress and benefit society. He wasn't just about undercutting NTT on price. He brought his entire philosophy to DDI, emphasizing customer service employee empowerment and those strong ethical business practices we've been talking about.
So he was basically saying, you can be successful and do the right thing. Did this resonate with the public?
Absolutely. DDI's success proved that consumers were hungry for a company that aligned with their values. And it further cemented Inamori's reputation as a visionary leader, someone who wasn't just about building companies, but about building a better world.
That brings me to something else I'm curious about. Inamori's legacy extends beyond business. He's also known for establishing the Kyoto Prize, a prestigious international award recognizing contributions to science, technology, and the arts. It's often compared to the Nobel Prize. What motivated him to create such a significant award?
It speaks to his deep commitment to fostering progress and understanding on a global scale. He saw the Kyoto Prize as a way to celebrate the achievements of individuals who were pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and creativity.
So it wasn't just about writing a check. He was personally invested in the process.
You got it. Inamori was actively involved in selecting the laureates. He attended the award ceremonies, and he engaged with the winners. He wasn't just a distant benefactor. He was a champion for these individuals and their work. And this dedication to supporting others extended to mentorship as well.
Oh, right. He founded Seiwajuku, a business leadership academy where he personally mentored up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
Exactly. He shared his philosophy, his management principles, his life lessons. He wasn't content with just achieving success himself. He wanted to empower others to reach their full potential.
Inamori's commitment to mentorship really highlights his belief in the power of sharing knowledge and guidance. But there's another chapter to his story that's almost unbelievable, the Japan Airlines turnaround.
It's a story that almost seems too good to be true. Picture this. Japan Airlines, the nation's flagship carrier, on the verge of collapse. Massive debt, a bureaucratic culture. The shadow of a tragic air disaster, the odds were stacked against them.
I can't even imagine the pressure. What would possess someone, especially someone nearing 80, to take on such a daunting task?
It was a combination of things. A sense of duty to his country, a deep belief in the potential of the company and its people, and that unwavering commitment to doing the right thing, no matter how difficult the circumstances.
It seems like everyone else had given up hope. Multiple CEOs had tried and failed to turn things around, but Inamori saw something different. He saw an opportunity to apply his principles, to rebuild not just a company, but a sense of pride and purpose in its employees.
And that's precisely what he did. He didn't come in with a prepackaged solution. He took the time to listen, to learn, to connect with people at all levels of the organization. He reminded them of their shared responsibility, their potential to create something extraordinary. And he did it all while battling pancreatic cancer, no less.
Wait, he was fighting cancer during this whole time? That's incredible.
It really is. He instilled a sense of urgency, of collective ownership, and of ethical conduct. And remarkably, within 2 years, JAL was back in the black, exceeding everyone's expectations. This incredible feat captured the attention of business leaders and policymakers around the world.
It sounds like a story straight out of a movie.
Yeah.
But this was real life. It's such a powerful example of how a clear philosophy, strong values, and unwavering determination can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. But how did he actually do it? What was his secret sauce?
To understand that, we need to delve into the specifics of his philosophy of action. We've seen the broad strokes of Inamori's journey, but now let's zoom in and explore the principles that guided his actions and ultimately led to his extraordinary success.
Okay, so we've got this incredible backdrop: the volcanic island, the blood oath, the telecoms battle, the philanthropic endeavors, and the airline rescue mission. Now I'm ready to dive into the nitty-gritty of his philosophy, the principles that made it all possible. Where do we start?
Let's begin with Inamori's formula for success, which he sums up as life's work, way of thinking, X enthusiasm, X ability. It's a simple equation, but it captures the essence of his belief in the power of mindset and passion.
Life's work, way of thinking, X enthusiasm, X ability.
Yeah.
It does sound simple on the surface, but I bet there's a lot to unpack there.
Absolutely. It's deceptively profound. He's essentially saying that talent or ability alone isn't enough for true success. It needs to be fueled by both a positive mindset, that way of thinking, and genuine passion or enthusiasm. It's fascinating how he puts way of thinking at the very beginning of the equation, wouldn't you say?
It really emphasizes how crucial your perspective, your outlook on life is to achieving your goals. It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can, you're right. But Inamori seems to be taking it even further. He's arguing that a truly positive mindset is essential for sustained long-term success.
That's a great observation. And it's not just about positive thinking in a superficial sense. He's talking about cultivating a mindset rooted in ethical principles, a deep sense of purpose, and a genuine desire to contribute to something larger than yourself.
So it's about aligning your actions with your values, finding motivation that goes beyond personal gain. And that's where the enthusiasm part comes in. That fire in your belly, that drive that keeps you going even when things get tough.
Precisely. It's about having a real passion for what you do, believing in the importance of your work. And this passion, when combined with a strong ethical compass, becomes a powerful force for positive change. It's really at the heart of Inamori's philosophy.
And it's interesting how this resonated with the Japanese people, especially after the economic bubble burst in the early 90s. People were looking for a new way forward. And Inamori's idea of living the right way, of making decisions based on what's morally sound, even if it means sacrificing short-term gains, offered a sense of hope.
Yes, Inamori's message provided a reminder that even in tough times, ethical conduct and a commitment to the greater good can lead to lasting success. And this idea, living the right way, continues to resonate today as we face new challenges and uncertainties.
So after diving into Inamori's story, I have to ask, what can we learn from a man who began with a blood oath and ended up transforming a national airline? What does living the right way actually look like in our own lives? I think that's what I'm left pondering.
It's a question worth reflecting on. I think Inamori's life demonstrates the incredible power of a strong philosophy, the importance of ethical action, and the amazing ability of the human spirit to overcome adversity. His story is a powerful example of how we can create positive change in the world.
It's truly inspiring. I think it challenges us to look beyond just the bottom line, to consider the ethical implications of our choices, and to strive to make a positive impact on the world around us. If you're interested in learning more about Kazuo Inamori and his philosophy, his book, Living the Right Way, is a great place to start. It's a guide not only for business success, but for living a life filled with purpose and meaning.
I couldn't agree more. It's a book that can spark a lot of thoughtful reflection no matter what path you're on in life.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. Inamori's story is full of twists and turns, and it's a testament to the power of vision, determination, and living a life guided by principles. I know I'm walking away with a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us on this journey.